Hello and welcome to English Speaking 360. Today, I am teaching you how to use the impersonal passive voice, and that is advanced English grammar, so it's not gonna be easy. Here's something important. An active voice sentence looks like this. The company launched a new product. The passive voice, can you make it? It should look like this. A new product was launched by the company. But the impersonal passive voice is this. A new product was launched. There is no by the company. And if you want to move from the active voice to the impersonal passive voice, it is not as easy as it looks. But today, I will help you with that. Here are some examples of impersonal passive voice sentences. The rules were broken. If you want to make this kind of sentence, you're going to have to use any form of the verb to be. Plus, you will need the past participle or the PP. In this case, we have the verb break. Break, broke, broken. So the third one is your PP. The rules were broken. The concert tickets are sold out. It is rumored that treasures are hidden there. The report was found to contain errors. It is believed that time heals all wounds. And opportunities were missed. In all of these sentences, you can see you always have the verb to be and the past participle. Now, there are 5 different uses of the impersonal passive voice. We can use it to focus on the action, not the doer, to express a general truth, to avoid assigning blame, to give instructions, and also to announce something officially. Today, we're going to take a look at each one of those, and I'm going to give you as many examples as possible. Let's get started with the first one, to focus on the action, not the doer. So let's try to make a sentence. Here's your active voice sentence. The teacher provided feedback to each student. Now, can you make the impersonal passive voice? Here is your clue. You have to focus on the feedback, not on the teacher. And the answer is, feedback was provided to each student. Who provided the feedback? We already know, it's the teacher. So, there is no need to say it again. Instead, we can focus on the action, not the doer. So focusing on the feedback being provided and not on the teacher providing the feedback. Here's another example. The committee reached the decision after careful consideration. So this is an active voice sentence. Can you make the impersonal passive voice? Give it a try. Don't just sit there and do nothing. You have to try. Ready? And this is your clue. The decision. Okay? Let's go. Here it is. The decision was reached after careful consideration. Once again, who reached the decision? It's not important because the most important thing is that the decision was made. Not who made the decision. That's why in this case as well, we focus on the action and not the people who reached the decision. A company is doing renovations as we speak. Try to make the impersonal passive voice. Here it is. Renovations are being done as we speak. Once again, who is doing the renovations? We don't care because the important thing is that the place is getting an upgrade. It could be any company. We don't mind. Let's move on to the second use of the impersonal passive voice to express a general truth. Here's your active voice sentence. People believe that laughter is contagious. Can you make the impersonal passive voice? To do it, you have to focus on laughter. Ready? Here it is. Laughter is believed to be contagious. That is a general truth or a general statement. Here's another one. People often find happiness in simple moments, like a campfire, for example. Ready? And what is the impersonal passive voice? It is this. Happiness is often found in simple moments. One more. We know that the sun rises in the east. It's true, for sure. So, what is the impersonal passive voice? We would say this. It is known that the sun rises in the east. Here are some other common expressions that you can use in this case. It is known that, it is believed that, it is said that, it is understood that, it is rumored that. Every time you have this, these sentences are impersonal passive voice sentences. Let's move on to the third one, to avoid assigning blame. And that is a key use of the impersonal passive voice. Here's an example. The chief scientist made mistakes during the experiment. Okay, now what would be the impersonal passive voice? Here it is. Now in this case, we want to avoid assigning blame or assigning responsibility. So, here's what we're going to say. Mistakes were made during the experiment. Who made the mistakes? We don't want to point fingers. We don't want to say who messed up. So, we don't mention who messed up. We just say mistakes were made. Here's another example. The accountant identified his error and corrected it promptly. Okay, you ready? And what is the impersonal passive voice? Of course, you wouldn't talk about the accountant. You know that now. So you would say, the error was identified and corrected promptly. In this case again, who found and corrected the error? We don't want to tell. We don't want to talk about the accountant, so we just focus on the error. Here's another example. Due to Sam's foolish expenses, the couple exceeded their budget. Okay, so what would be the impersonal passive voice? It would be this one here. The budget was exceeded due to unforeseen expenses, for example. Who had unplanned expenses? We know who it is, but we don't want to point fingers, so we don't want to mention Sam at all. We just focus on the budget being exceeded. Let's move on to number 4, to give instructions. Everyone must follow safety procedures at all times. You've heard sentences like this before, but we can also make them into an impersonal passive voice. Here's how to do it. You would say, safety procedures must be followed at all times. So this sounds very, very natural, doesn't it? Here's another example. You have to make your payments online. Impersonal passive voice. Here it is. Payments have to be made online. Here's another one. Students should attend all classes in order to get an A. Okay, that's a very common sentence. Now try to switch it around. Here it is. All classes should be attended in order to get an A. And finally, to announce something officially, like on the news, for example. Here's an example. We expect that temperatures will drop overnight. But on the news, they would use the impersonal passive voice very often. They would say, it is expected that temperatures will drop overnight. We will provide you with updates as they become available. Impersonal passive voice. Here it is. Updates will be provided as they become available. Here's another example. Volunteers will hold a fundraiser in support of local communities. Now try to make it into an impersonal passive voice. Here's the answer. A fundraiser will be held in support of local communities. Excellent, guys. Hey, I hope you had a good time making these sentences. They are not easy, but remember, you have to practice a lot. If you're interested in grammar, you can check out the other videos here on the right, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye bye.